Thank you so much. I'm glad to see that we have such a big crowd today, despite the fact that we had questionable weather the past couple of days. I want to preface before I start my talk, I want to say that we try to plan things as well as possible, and we didn't know that the emotional cues was going to be such a popular one because we didn't have a lot of people that sort of expressed that when they pre-registered. So we'll try to do that one again next year, and hopefully everybody will get to see her. We'll put her in this big auditorium maybe, so nobody will have a missed opportunity. But anyway, you know, my four dietitians, the Fab Four, as we like to call them here, did a great job about telling you how to plan your meals. You know, the one common thread that I kept hearing through their talk was fruits and vegetables. We have done lots of research here at Pennington. The DASH diet, many of you may have heard of the DASH diet, which actually shows that fruits and vegetables and other dietary components are very important, not only in helping you lower your blood pressure, but prevent against cancer and also to help in heart disease. So what is in those fruits and vegetables? And that's really what I want to key on. The thing that fruits and vegetables, when you look at pictures like this, really just sort of tell you that there's a lot of color in fruits and vegetables, and that color means something. The richer the color in foods, the more potent natural chemicals that they contain. So when you think about your health, you need to think about color, and you need to make sure that that plate has got a lot of color in it. Fruits and vegetables come in terrific colors and flavors, but their real beauty actually lies inside the fruit and vegetable and into those phytochemicals that that are contained within the fruits and vegetables and help in your chronic disease risk. They're also great sources of vitamins and minerals, and again, I mentioned the protection. So let's talk a minute about phytochemicals. Does anybody really know what that word is? What is a phytochemical? We hear about it, they say it's good for you, but the definition of phytochemicals is that it is a natural plant compound. Now you remember, natural plant compound that's specific to the plant, not necessarily in a pill. That gives the produce its bright color, and it provides a variety of health benefits. And I'm going to talk about a lot of those health benefits. Now, the term is used to refer to chemicals that may affect health. We can't really isolate all these phytochemicals to the extent that we can compare one to another. But just to give you a little tidbit, I have this slide later, but they're saying that the blueberry contains as many as 100 phytochemicals. Now, can you imagine 100 phytochemicals in a little tiny thing that you just ate maybe a while ago? So it's got minute amount. But they're not essential nutrients. We just know that they're protective, and we know that we should consume them because they do give us that protection against a number of things. There's abundant scientific and government support for recommending diets that are rich in fruits and vegetables. I know that years ago you probably heard that 5 a day was good for cancer. Well, when we studied the DASH diet, it's not 5, it's 9 to 12. So let's think about that, but also think in terms of 9 to 12 servings. What you consider, for instance, like one banana, half a banana may be considered a serving. So it's all in the context of what you conceive as a serving. There's some limited evidence from a number of studies that health benefits are due to specific phytochemicals, but again, remember that we can't really isolate them to know which particular one. We just know that there's a bunch of them that are important. Therefore, we need to eat the rainbow. We need to think about this as our call. Here are some names of some phytochemicals that you may see. I'm going to talk a little bit about them. I'm going to leave this slide up just briefly so that you will, I don't have enough time to go into the definition of all of them. I particularly like resveratrol. I don't know if how many of you know about resveratrol, but that's in red wine and in grape juice. So there are some very potent chemicals out there that have been isolated, and we do know that resveratrol is found in grapes and in the skins of grapes, so that's why the red wine is particularly good for you. So what do phytochemicals do? I gave you a definition saying that they're natural compounds found in plants that are protective, but they function as antioxidants. And antioxidants protect the body by neutralizing free radicals. It's been said that part of the aging process within the body is due to the production of free radicals that cause us to age, causes maybe to get wrinkles, causes maybe a lot of things that we don't particularly appreciate as we age. We don't age as well as fine wine, for instance. But anyway, free radicals actually cause cell damage and actually can cause us to have cancer or heart disease. So those are, now that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get those, but usually that whole process is stimulated by free radical formation. So phytochemicals can enhance your immune response, they can alter your estrogen metabolism, they may cause cancer cells to die in a process that is known as apoptosis. The phytochemicals may also be able to repair DNA damage caused by toxic compounds. I think that's probably a little bit of a stretch. I don't think we could significantly see fruits and vegetables counteracting maybe pesticides or something else in our environment, and they may help to detoxify some carcinogens. I'm going to talk about the groups of people, because we talk about reds, we talk about blues. There's a bunch of things that we need to know about that are specific to the colors in some of our fruits and vegetables. The red group, they add anthocyanins, beta-cyanins, and lycopenes. And I know that you probably have heard that word lycopene. Lycopene is a bright red carotene or carotenoid pigment that's found specific in tomatoes, not necessarily in other red fruits and vegetables, not strawberries or cherries, for instance, but they're very high in tomatoes. And actually, I will go a step further and say that they're higher in concentrated tomato sources such as canned tomatoes, tomato paste, ketchup, not as high in the raw tomato, because as I said, you know, there are many, many phytochemicals, and the concentration of some of these phytochemicals makes them better sources than others. So I have a friend who would like drink it's a guy, and he's worried about prostate cancer, and so prostate cancer is one of the things that lycopene has been, proven to maybe help with, and so he would drink a can of tomato sauce per day, and that is perfectly fine. Just don't get the no salt added tomato sauce. And he could have had a V8, but the problem with the tomato sauce and a lot of tomato products is really the sodium. And I don't know if you heard this recently, but if you are 51 years of age or older, you need to be cutting back on your sodium regardless of whether you have high blood pressure. So the blood pressure is elevated as we age, so we want to try to do as best as we can in that regard. The other reds in your diet will help to maintain a healthy heart, work on memory function, urinary tract infection. How many of you had cystitis? Been there, done that. Cranberries, great for that, and may lower the risk of some cancers. Of the top 20 antioxidant fruits and vegetables, 7 of them are red, and these are the 7 that are the highest of the 20 antioxidants. You see strawberries, cranberries, raspberries, cherries, red grapes, beets, and red peppers. I know somebody that doesn't like beets, and when I said, oh, but it has this, they all of a sudden like beets now. The yellow-orange group, I know you've heard that we had this discussion earlier today about carrots and carotenoids. Well, orange-yellow foods are a great source of carotenoids. They help with vision and a number of other things, and it can be converted into vitamin A. They will, as I mentioned, it will help maintain your night vision, a healthy heart, healthy immune system, may lower your risk of cancer. And it is said that the antioxidants within orange and yellow fruits and vegetables may help prevent cataracts and protect the body from other types of damage from free radicals. Now, I had a cataract surgery, and I don't know why, because I eat lots of orange, yellow. So I think maybe there's something else. The doctor told me I was just getting old. So she says it's like gray hair, only it's in your eye. The orange-yellow foods that are important, the vegetables, carrots, sweet potatoes, yellow potatoes, you know, you see those yellow potatoes now, the gold potatoes, pumpkins, squash, corn, yellow peppers. Now remember, the darker the red, the yellow, or the orange, the more phytochemicals it's going to have. The fruits, oranges, tangerines, grapefruit, mangoes, cantaloupe, apricots, and bananas. And remember that some of these are, well, the first three are citrus, so you will also have an additional antioxidant, which is vitamin C, which does also function as an antioxidant. The green group are a great source of lutein and zeaxanthin. Now, I don't know if I ask somebody what is that, they probably say, well, I don't know. All you can say is it's in those green foods. It's actually a yellow-orange pigment, but it's masked by the chlorophyll in the green foods. And this is really a wonderful thing that you need to add to your diet. You need a lot of green, not iceberg lettuce, romaine lettuce. Not iceberg lettuce, spinach. So we want to get the power of the green foods. These antioxidants can help prevent macular degeneration, prevent the risk of cancers. They're loaded with vitamins and minerals, lots of potassium, lots of magnesium in these leafy green vegetables. And those leafy green vegetables were a very important part of the DASH diet. So think about, again, dark green kale. That's really a good source as well. So we're finding that the green group is found in kiwi, green grapes, honeydew, limes, spinach, green pepper, broccoli, and romaine lettuce. I've heard it said too that that broccoli in and of itself, you know how we hear broccoli is a great vegetable. So what's so great about broccoli? Well, one thing that that it seems to be apparent is that broccoli is not high in any one phytochemical, but it's got a ton of many. It's got many phytochemicals in it, not big contents, but very widespread and diverse. So for a little old broccoli thing, you know, it's a good thing. The blue-purple group is one that I'm especially fond of. They're a great source of anthocyanins, and oh gosh, resveratrol is there too. The word anthocyanin means blue flower, and resveratrol in and of itself is usually found in the skin of purple grapes, and so therefore you can get it in red wine, but you could also get it in grape juice. So you don't have to start drinking wine to get the benefits of resveratrol. But if you do drink red wine, you could say, I'm doing my heart good. Again, you're protecting against heart disease. It's thought to have some anti-aging effects. I'm all there with that. Preventing urinary tract infections, and also with some anti-cancer properties. So we found the blue-purple group in blueberries, blackberries, grapes, plums, purple cabbage, purple onions, although I would say part of the purple onion is also white, but eggplant, purple peppers, and purple endive. So there are a lot of things that you need to probably mark down on your shopping list when you go through the produce section. Variety is going to be the key here in all fruits and vegetables. You know, we're doing a study where we told people about the blueberry study. I'm a little bit premature because I have a little slide on that. But, you know, we are having people consume basically 2 cups of blueberries per day incorporated within a smoothie. However, you know, that doesn't mean that you have to have just blueberries to get some benefits. You need to eat the rainbow, so there's lots of variety in your diet. And white isn't, you know, is white really a color? I don't think white is a color, but white is a color in some fruits and vegetables, and it's a color in terms of colorful being part of your whole dietary planning. There are a great source of allicin, indoles, and allyl sulfides, and can help maintain heart health and lower the risk of some cancers. And this is my way of saying, feel confident about using your onions, your garlic. You know, I know that you know about garlic because it's been popular in terms of Larry King using garlic. But garlic is not as effective as your own garlic. So remember that. Nothing within a supplement is going to be as good as the natural whole food. Whole Foods, one of our sponsors. Apples, plantains, and shallots are also part of the white group. There's 2 books that I would recommend if you want to know more about color and get a little more in-depth. One is The Color Code by the late James Joseph, and the other is What Color is Your Diet? And these are the two books that actually have been out on the market for a while, and you can probably find them at any bookstore as well as perhaps at Amazon. But they have a lot of detailed information. I will say that The Color Code is a little bit easier read, so I would suggest that if you don't want to get too complicated and too involved, that maybe you try that one first, and when you've got a good grasp about that one, you could probably manage to get the other one. The Color Code's top 10 fruits are strawberries, raspberries. These are the top 2 in each of the categories. Oranges, mango, and grapefruit in orange yellow, kiwi and avocado in green, and blueberries, Concord grapes, and dried plums in the blue purple. The Color Code's top 10 vegetables are tomatoes and red bell peppers in the red group, carrots, sweet potato, and winter squash in the orange yellow, and spinach, broccoli, and kale in the green, purple and eggplant and purple cabbage in the blue purple group. I'm almost done here. I would say consider blueberries. We have a USDA database that tells us that blueberries contain more than a dozen vitamins and minerals in small amounts. All fruits and vegetables and berries are a very good source of fiber and are, as the dietitians told you earlier today, the fiber is very important in your digestive health, and you know, you could feel good about your colon and you can feel good about your phytochemical consumption. And as I mentioned before, blueberries pack nearly 100 different phytochemicals, and we have found them to help in diabetes prevention, and that was a first study that we've done. Our next study is going to be, it's a Blueberry 2 study where we're looking at your risk of hypertension and perhaps looking at blueberries as a way of helping to lower your blood pressure. We know that that blueberries will be helpful in terms of the minerals that are specific to the blueberries, but also we think these phytochemicals are going to be something else. When you collect your little measuring spoon, if you're interested in the blueberry study, we have some flyers back there. We actually, if you did your BMI, in our little room up there where the talks were, you also may have been informed about the blueberry study, but we want to get the message out because we really want to see if we can get all the people that, I mean, it's a fun study and it's only 6 weeks, so it's great. Now, if you have any questions, I would be more than happy to field some questions that you have. Yes? You may feel very good about using frozen blueberries or fresh blueberries. You may even heat the blueberries, and I think the phytochemicals will still remain, much as the tomato, the fresh tomato, and the lycopene. But the other thing I will tell you is that when we did our blueberry study, we actually got a freeze-dried extract, so the phytochemicals are still there. There is no age group on the limit except that you have to be fairly much overweight. So we're looking at people who have a BMI of 30 or greater, and and I will have to tell you that we have screened over telephone screened and talked to more than 400 people, and unfortunately our sign out there on Kenilworth Parkway doesn't say really specifically specify that you have to be that overweight. So it's really for someone who is fairly overweight, and if you had your BMI done, it's in the what's considered obese category. Other questions?
What about the age?
The age, you can be, I believe, Catherine, you can be any age. I don't think there's an age limit to the blueberry study. I'm almost positive it's not. And you have to have you have to be hypertensive, so we are looking at blood pressure and the response to the blueberries. And then there's some concern about blood glucose. There's one slide that I eliminated from this presentation because I thought, well, when I did my student teaching, I graduated in home economics education from USL, and I had to student teach at New Iberia Senior High. And they had a big poster in the foods lab, and I'll never forget that. It says, Peppy Pearly eats peelings, Droopy Delsey doesn't. So I will have to say that when I make my eggplant parmesan, I'll leave the peeling on there, and it's edible. If it's edible, I would say you're going to be getting an extra measure if you eat the peelings. Is it better to eat the question? I'll try to repeat the questions to help you guys. She asked if it is better to eat the vegetables raw or cooked. Actually, I would say that as long as you don't overcook your vegetables, like my mother used to boil broccoli, and it was like light green when it came out, and it was mushy. So I think that we're starting now to appreciate that vegetables that are cooked, steamed, and not overdone will impart as many health benefits as raw vegetables in most cases. And actually, when we used to talk about drinking the minerals that are leached out in the water sometimes, so drink the water if you happen to overcook those vegetables. Other questions?
Speaking of the water, I had a grandmother who went through the time where the depression and everything was a big deal, so anything like, including the juices of the water on the vegetables, made us keep just kept adding little pots in the freezer and then eat all those.
So this other comment was that during the Depression, oftentimes when grandmothers, I guess grandmothers, great-grandmothers, would cook vegetables, they would keep the water and use them in soup. Well, that water is going to have a little bit of vitamins and minerals. And I would say definitely that would be a good strategy, but throw away the bacon drippings, because they used to keep those too, and that is not necessarily beneficial. Anybody else? The microwave. Actually, I would tell you that the microwave is probably a good way of cooking your vegetables to make sure that as far as I know, the microwave does not affect the nutrient content. And oftentimes we can cook it for a shorter period of time, and it comes out perfectly. I always microwave my broccoli, for instance, because I think that I can cook it for 1 minute, and to my knowledge, it does not destroy any of the phytochemicals. Anything else? Let's take one last question here. You. Dried as opposed to fresh fruit. The drying process, to my knowledge, does not negatively impact, and the reason I'm saying this is we used in the DASH diet, we used a lot of raisins coming from grapes, a lot of apricots, dried apricots, because it concentrates the mineral content. I don't have a lot of data to suggest what it might do with the phytochemicals, but actually, since we're using a freeze-dried blueberry powder, I'm thinking that those phytochemicals are fairly stable. Okay, oh yes, well I had a feeling that was going to come up. The freeze-dried blueberry powder that we're using is not yet commercially available. So I guess if we get some really good results and it becomes affordable, then maybe people will start demanding that they would like this, and who knows. There's a lot of things that come out. You might have to find it in a health food store. Now, in that case, I would buy a freeze-dried whole food product even if it was at a specialty store. So now we have one last question.
Just disregard it.
What? Southside Produce has lots of frozen vegetables, and I would feel good about going there and getting their frozen fruits and vegetables. So yes, and so you're just saying it so people know where to go get it, right? Very good.